I did 40K. 2019, it was 100K. And then 2020, like actually like my New Year's resolution that year was like, okay, I understand what's going on in the business. I see the potential, like I need to go hard on this. And then we went on 2020 from 100K to 800K. 2021, it was 2.5 million.
E-commerce is the greatest business opportunity of our generation. What is going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Ecom Unlimited podcast. It's your boy Kaj. Today, I'm here as always with my co-host Josh.
What's going on, everybody?
And we have a very special guest that I'm excited to talk with, Javier Garcia. ¿Cómo estás?
How are you, man? Thank you so much. I'm doing good. How about you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. So today is what, the 21st of May, I believe. And so you just wrapped up your Mundo Amazon conference. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was actually this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It was a great event, man. It was actually pretty similar to the event that we met at, the Miami Saturday conference, but it was in Spanish. We had 230 people show up, and it was a great event. So we talked a lot about Amazon, about wholesalers, brand direct, like all the whole game that we've been living in this 5 months of the year. And I think like Amazon is not necessarily changing, but yeah, we need to use new techniques and new stuff to survive. Let's call it that way.
Yeah, definitely. And now I saw that Flips for Miles gave a presentation there too. Was his presentation in Spanish?
No, it was English. It was English. That's funny because we have 15 speakers. We only had two that they did their presentation in English. But Miles, he was last year's conference as well, and for some reason, I mean, he's a great speaker and he knows everything about Amazon. But for some reason, like, his presentation is basically like everybody's favorite presentation. Like, it's just insane.
Really?
Yeah, I think like when
great.
you give like so much value and stuff, like there's no such a thing as like language barrier. Like we're all on the same thing and the same business, the same industry. We all see everything pretty much the same way. Like it doesn't matter the language. So I think that's actually like a really cool lesson that I will learn from these two events.
Love that. So take us back to the beginning of your story and how you got into e-commerce, how you found it, how you started selling products online.
Awesome. Yeah. So it was 2018. I believe it was kind of like a Sunday. I was at home and then I was just searching for videos on YouTube. And then it had like this ad for a private label course, which was actually like really nice. Like they explained everything about Amazon, like super, super cool. At that time, like I didn't know you could sell stuff on Amazon. Like I thought like Amazon was this huge company that they will sell everything themselves. Like I didn't know about like third-party sellers and stuff. And then like that video kind of like opened my mind to new things and kind of like it got my attention. Like I would really like to do this, because at that time I was having like a couple part-time jobs. The same story of everybody pretty much. Like I was at that place where I wasn't happy financially or like with my work, with my boss, with anything pretty much. And then I saw Amazon as kind of like an emergency exit maybe, and it actually worked. So I'm forever grateful for that.
So did you take that private label course and start private label, or how did you first start
I didn't
selling?
have the money for the course, to be honest. But yeah, it was actually a series of 4 videos that I watched them all, and then I started kind of like just searching for more information, and I started like following people on Amazon, on IG. I'm sorry. It was 2018, so it was still kind of like the early days. I started kind of like just searching for more information. I gave private label a try, and it didn't go well at all. I still have like some of those products sitting in my warehouse 6 years later. But yeah, I mean, like it was kind of like the introduction to e-commerce and to Amazon. So I would say it was worth it. $20 million later, I would say it was worth it.
It was worth it, definitely. And then, so you did do the private label, and I'm assuming you started with retail arbitrage or OA, or did you just decide to jump straight
exactly.
to wholesale?
So I did a little bit of RA. then I didn't want to go to stores anymore. Like I'm in Miami, so it's super hot. Like if you go to a store and you get like 100 units of one item, maybe, or let's say like 40 units of one item in Costco, like you have people like seeing you like some kind of way, I didn't want to be there anymore. Like okay, this is cool, I'm making some money, but like this is not really for me. So I kind of like transitioned into OA. At that time, they had this. I believe now it's kind of like a cashback site, Rakuten. At that time, they used to sell a lot of products, and actually the Asics, the running shoes, like those sell like super super cheap. I'm telling you, like 35, $40 on Rakuten, and then maybe like 110, $120 on Amazon. So like I got the Chico at that time. So I was like super happy. I went all in on OA, and then I would say maybe like a year later, I did my transition into wholesale, which is the business model that I still do.
So
Got it. And I'm assuming 100% wholesale,
yeah,
right? Perfect.
let's see about taking it like over like the past 5 years. Like, what's your revenue numbers been?
Yeah, so we've done a little bit over $20 million in sales on Amazon the last 5 years. So it was basically 2018, we did 40K. Well, I did 40K. 2019, it was 100K. And then 2020, like actually like my New Year's resolution that year was like, okay, I understand what's going on in the business. I see the potential. Like I need to go hard on this. So 2020 was kind of like the growth year, plus of course COVID, the pandemic. I mean, like it was super bad for everybody pretty much, but for ecom sellers, like it was just such a movement. And then we went on 2020 from 100K to 800K. 2021 it was 2.5 million, then 4.5, and last year 8.5.
Dude, that is so sick.
So what's the goal for this year?
Actually, I would say 10. People usually they want to at least kind of like double, but I mean like the bigger that you get, the harder that it is to actually like double. Actually, if you grow by like
Yep.
20%, that's huge, you know?
Yeah.
Plus, like this year, I'm not trying to go like super crazy on loans and capital and all this movement and stuff. I kind of like want to keep the same rhythm that we have right now, but trying to clean all the operation, suppliers, brands, and everything else that I'm pretty sure is what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, talk to us a little about like cleaning up, like using different loans and capitals to get to where you were today. How did you go about doing that? And did that scare you at all?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. It did scare me a lot. I took the risk, and I'm happy for that. I also gotta say that I knew where I was gonna put that money, so it wasn't kind of like. Thing is, okay, so I started selling on Amazon. I don't know anything about capital. I'm telling you, like, I didn't even know that companies, they had like corporate credit cards. Like, I thought it was just kind of like a credit card for everybody. And bro, like, I didn't have like any knowledge at all. So it was just kind of like a personal Capital One card. Like, it was just insane. And I was flipping shoes with that card. Then I created my company. Actually, it was 2020 when COVID hit and everybody was doing the economic disaster loan, kind of like a help, like a funding, that I actually learned about like loans and credit lines and everything else. So I got a loan from the SBA, I'm sorry. So we started working on that, and then we got the first loan from Amazon Lending. So it was 5K, and I'm like, okay, this helps. I kind of like flip everything. Then we got a credit line from Marcus through Amazon Lending for 75K. I was like, okay, this is getting serious, but it was a credit line. So I was like, okay, if I don't need it, I'm not gonna use it. Then of course I started growing. I used all 75K. I started like paying back and stuff. And then all of a sudden I get an offer from Amazon Lending. It was $504,000, $500,000, just like that.
What was the term? How long was the term on it?
It was at that time those were like a little bit longer, so I believe it was either 15 or 18 months, which helps a lot.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That's
Because
wow.
now when I see the Amazon, they're like 6 months.
Sometimes even 3 months, which is insane.
Oh gosh.
Because it's
So
3 months,
did
but I
you
mean
take
the
it?
following month, like they're already asking for their money back. So It's just But at that time, like I remember like exactly like that phase. I was like, oh shit, like what do I do? Like I've been complaining about capital for
Yeah.
the last year, and now I have $500,000 that I can take. Like, should I take it or not? And then, of course, I talked to my dad. At that time, it was just my dad and myself. So I only had one employee, which was my dad. I was paying him a super small salary, and I wasn't paying myself. So I would work as a bartender on the weekends. So I didn't take any money from the business, and I would pay my bills with my money and just kind of like reinvest everything. So I have like that invitation, $504,000, and I look at my dad and I said like, what do we do? And of course he's like this just like Latino dad, like super traditional, like 9 to 5, like I don't believe in Amazon, like I don't believe in anything. And he goes like, I think that's too much money for us. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, but I mean like, why not, you know? So I told him like, listen, let's do at least 250K. And he was like, if you decide to do it, like, let's just go for it. Let's work hard. We might need an extra person, and then like we'll go from there. And at that time, and this is one of those crucial points where having a mentor or someone like you guys that share like so much knowledge and so much game, like it actually helps and kind of like it defines whether a business make it or not, like as simple as that. So I reach out to Larry from Watch Me Amazon, and I told him like, listen, I have this offer, like we've been talking for a month about like my growth, and I want to sell like this amount of dollars and everything else, and I have the offer, but like bro, like I'm scared, you know, like I'm scared to take like $500,000 to my business. And he said like, listen, you know your numbers. If you're able to do even 1% more of the APR, not the APR, the actual cost of the loan with your inventory, take it. Even if it's gonna be, let's say, a 12% cost on the loan and you're gonna make 12.5%, just take it. Because like that growth and like that scale of economy, like it's gonna help your business a lot. And it's gonna open a lot of doors. And I talked to my dad and I said like, listen, I think I'm gonna take it. Like I'm gonna take it, and then it's my responsibility to understand where to put this money and how many suppliers to contact and how many products to buy, prep, and ship and everything else. And I did it. Like I wasn't ready for it, but I did it, and we figured it out. So yeah, I think that was one of the crucial points of my business. After that, we got a refinancing option for like 600 and something, then 700, and then the last one that we got offered and that we took, it was like 950K from Amazon lending, which is insane. I mean, like APRs and costs from Amazon lending, they're not low. I mean, like they're kind of like, yeah, they're aggressive, but I mean, like if you know what you're doing and you know your business and you make sure that you're buying the right products from the right people, like I think it makes sense.
100%. I really like the way that you summed it all up, using like that traditional family model that I like. Even for me, like that's what I go through as well. Like my mom's like super traditional, like don't take out loans, like don't be dumb, all that sort of stuff. And it's just like I got baked so hard into like that kind of mindset that a lot of the things that like me and Cajua are doing is just like crossing the line by like so much.
I
But
know.
the fact is like,
trust me.
yeah, but it's like understanding the business model and how it works and like understanding like what numbers you actually are bringing in is just so important, because if you do not know those numbers, taking a risk like that can be, you know, it could be the end of a business easily.
Yeah.
So it was really cool how you went about it. You actually, you know, secured the loan. You like went to actually seek out help. I think that's a point where a lot of people miss. They don't get like they get all excited and they're like, oh yeah, perfect, I'm making all this money, like this is great. And then you get a loan like that, and then next thing you know, like they'll like go.
Yeah.
But you took the time to understand what it meant to have a loan like that, and to have somebody or mentor who has been through the process before, too, just making sure like you were making sure like all your T's and all your I's were dotted in terms of understanding the whole process of what the loan was, and that's really cool. Not only seeing the maturity side of things, but also seeing how everything developed for you. Yeah, that's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
super
like
cool.
if we look back now, like it looks, it feels funny, but at that time, like, it wasn't funny at all.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No, not at all. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember the first Amazon loan we took. Whew.
yeah,
And it was maybe $10,000 or $15,000. Pretty pivotal
yeah, it's
moment.
still,
It's
yeah,
like, oh shoot,
I know.
like we're screwed if we don't buy enough product and sell it. We are screwed.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes I feel like it's a good position to be in, especially we come from traditional families. So if we only listen to our family, like, we're just gonna stay on the same place. I mean, like,
Right.
it's kind of like, I don't want you to take it like the wrong way, but I mean, like, we need to take those risks that maybe like they don't agree with those. If you really like want to move forward and you want to move up.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Yep, that
Especially-
success takes risks, and you have to know your
Yeah.
risk profile.
100%. And especially if they're
Yeah.
calculated like that. Like, I mean, those are the ones, those are the life-changing ones that you only get a few of in your lifetime. So if you don't take advantage of those, you're not going to get as far as you
Yeah.
And you said that you were working as a bartender on the weekend, and you were paying your dad who was working for you, but you weren't paying yourself.
Yes, sir.
How long until you started paying yourself and only relying on the business for your personal?
I actually became a full-time employee of my own company in 2021. So it was almost 4 years.
Okay.
2021, we ended up the year with $2.5 million in sales. So it was like an actual business already. And I wasn't paying myself. So again, I had like all these wrong mindset. Like I didn't have the knowledge or the experience with like credit cards, like 0% APR for 12 months. Like I didn't know what that meant. So I actually got my dad working with me. Then I have my two sisters working with me. So it's a family business. Still today a family business, which I'm super grateful for. And then look, like I had like those 3 employees, and because my job at that time was bartending, so it was like during the weekends, like it wouldn't really like affect my operation during the week. And I had like that money coming in to pay for my bills. Like I just tried to do like this, I would say like maybe like delayed gratification for a couple years actually. And then 2021, like I said, like it's enough, because like those weekends and those like late nights and early mornings, like they were taking a toll. So I decided just to jump all in on the business, and I'm grateful I did that, because at that time like the business again like took like another huge step ahead. So I believe it's important for people to actually recognize when is enough and you actually need to jump in like full time, because if not, like there's gonna be money that you're leaving on the table.
100%. And I always tell this quick story that you may or may not have heard me tell it before, but the very first time I ever tried to pay myself from this, not even for like full time, but just because I was like, all right, we've been doing this for a while. Let me $500. This was in 2019. Took a paycheck for $500. I was like, oh, this is sweet,
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, I had to write the check right back to the business because I didn't know what I was doing. So like, if you're listening to this and you have a full-time job and you're just on the side, keeping that full-time job and being able to reinvest into the business is a replace.
Yeah, I agree.
You said you also hired your 2 sisters. Talk to us now what your team structure looks like. You also have VAs as well, or just employees based locally?
Yeah, I actually just have one VA, and she's part-time. I mean, she helps, let's say, like part-time with some Amazon stuff, and then part-time with some like coaching stuff and other businesses. But then in my warehouse, we have 3 preppers full-time. So 3 people prepping all day, every day, pretty much. Then we have 2 persons, which are my dad and my sister. They're basically like supervisors. So my dad will take care of making sure that the 3 preppers have products to prep every single minute of the day, and then kind of like moving like all the pallets around the warehouse, receiving pallets, like counting the products, making sure like everything is complete and everything is correct. And then I have one of my sisters taking care of the rest of the logistics or operations, meaning like creating shipments, printing labels, kind of like organizing everything from a desk, so she can just then translate that into actual work. And then I have my other sister into the office with me, and right now she's in charge of just running price lists, placing orders, and product research, all this kind of stuff, maybe like sourcing for new brands that we might reach out and kind of like try to work directly with them. Like all these, let's call it like computer work. She's in charge of that. And then right now, like I'm just in charge of, let's say like maybe like overlooking the repricer, the inventory management system. I'm just kind of like supervising all the operation, but like in the day-to-day activities, like thankfully, like I don't do much anymore, to be honest.
Very nice, very nice. And I remember at the Miami Sellers Conference, Amazon Lit was talking about their total production costs per unit. Yeah. And so obviously you're doing all of your prep in-house. You're not using prep centers. Do you know what that number is, or close to what that number is for you? Like how much it costs you?
Wait, could
you guys hear me now?
Yeah, you got to repeat.
Can you hear me now?
Oh no. Yes.
Do you know what your production cost per unit is, or like an estimation of it between the payroll, the software, on the warehouse?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, it's between 50 and 60 cents per unit.
Yeah, that is incredible.
Which is very decent.
Yeah,
very decent.
That is very, very good.
Yeah, thing is, I mean, like I would say it depends a lot on the business. Okay, so I don't want anyone like listening to this podcast if they have like a $1 kind of like operational cost per unit, they're gonna think it's too high. Sometimes it's not high at all, it's perfect. So we move a lot of volume. Okay, so we try to prep and ship over 60,000 units per month. So that's how we're able to kind of like get to that 50 or 60 cents per unit cost. Okay, it depends on the type of product that you actually sell or buy and sell, of course. It depends on a lot of things. So right now we're trying to move to a higher price point. So I know like this operational cost is gonna go up per unit, but we're gonna be making more money out of each sale. So like it doesn't really matter. But yeah, just from kind of like a perspective from our business, yeah, we've always tried to stay between 50 and 75 cents. If we can do 50 cents on some month, like it helps, of course.
And you said you're doing a ton of volume and you're trying to increase your average sale price. But right now, where is your average sale price?
I would say right now around $15, maybe less. There was a time that we had
so low,
around 12, which was insane. So you need to sell like thousands of units a day, literally, to make some decent money. So that's what we're trying to do. Okay, so quick story here. I have this guy. I don't know if you guys know Ricardo, CEO on Instagram, Ricardo Dominguez. I'll introduce you to him.
I think so.
He's a beast, just a straight up beast. So we got to know each other. He came to a warehouse. We were talking about Amazon and the operation, and should I put like this pallet rack like this or next to the wall, or what should we do? And then I told him like, listen, let's see our phones, like the Seller Central app. And then like we just refreshed the app and we put both phones together. Like we sold, like we've sold that day the exact same amount of units. I believe it was 1,245 units. Like I remember, and he had sold that day 3 times the amount like of dollars that I've sold.
Wow!
Because he had like such a higher price points compared to me. So he had less employees. He was dealing with less products and less problems. And he was making way more money than I was. So at that time, that was maybe like a year and a half ago, like that was a game changer for me. I was like, listen, there's some things that I've been doing that they work, but that I could improve, because with all the structure that I have and all the processes and systems and everything, like we could move to a cleaner business, let's call it that way.
That is an eye-opening moment for sure.
Yeah,
same amount of units, but 3 times more sales.
1,245 units. Like I'll never forget that number.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then staying on that topic of I guess just keeping that production cost. I also know that you started doing you have your own truck, and you're using that to do combined full truckload shipments, I believe. So talk to us about that, and then maybe for people who aren't familiar, Like, what's the difference between an LTL and FTL, and why you want to do it?
Awesome. Yeah, so yeah, I've created like a couple, I like to call them complementary businesses to my main operation. So we also work as a prep center, 3PL, and we also offer trucking services for sellers, especially here in Miami. So we have our own truck, which we got last year, and then we do local pickups. We consolidate everything in our warehouse, and then we ship a full truckload. We're actually shipping 2 full truckloads per week. Okay, so the goal by the end of the year is to have shipped over 100 full truckloads like in 2024. That's the actual goal. I think we're really close to move from 2 full truckloads to 3 per week, which will be insane, pretty much 1 truck per day or something like that. So yeah, for all the people that are listening that maybe they're a little new to Amazon, we have different ways of shipping products to Amazon, and that goes directly to the cost, to the operational cost per unit. So we have SPD, small parcel delivery, which basically you just ship your products on boxes through UPS. Then we have LTLs, which is pallets, like you ship 1 pallet, 2 pallets, but it's not the FTL, which is the third one, which is the full truckload. So we love doing the full truckload because basically the Amazon Prime huge, beautiful truck, the full truckload, comes to our warehouse, picks up all the pallets that we have ready, and they go straight to Amazon. So there is no stops, there is no anything. Like they'll just leave our warehouse today at 5 p.m. and they'll be at CLT2, which is the warehouse that we ship to, the following day at noon or something like that. So less than 24 hours turnaround, which is huge.
Yeah, everybody.
And then there's also the live unload as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, as soon as that truck picks up the products, they're basically all available for sale.
Yeah.
So it's even faster than small parcel delivery.
Yeah.
Because like we've been at that point now where it's like we were doing a lot of small parcel delivery because we were mainly OA, and then as we started doing more wholesale, then doing more LTL.
Okay.
But small parcel delivery is a little bit faster,
Yeah.
but more expensive than LTL. Whereas LTL is cheaper but a little bit slower. But then FTL, it's the trump card because
Yeah.
it's the cheapest by far. I mean, you can get a full truckload for under.
Yeah.
And then it's the fastest because it goes straight from the warehouse that it's shipping from to Amazon, and you get that live on. That's the power of hitting scale.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
that's correct. 100%.
And the beautiful other thing about the FTL is you can, like you were saying, you can combine. So you can have a full truckload, but put pallets from multiple different sellers. So if you're not quite able to full truckload with your own inventory, that's where, having a good network of other sellers where you can combine your efforts together, reach out to an Amazon freight rep and say, hey, we want to all just get our own truckload. And then you're saving money, you're saving time, you're a little quicker, and it's a win for everybody.
Yep, that was exactly the business idea. So thank you for explaining it for me.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. How would you describe, if someone wants to get in like wholesale, somebody wants to start, how would you kind of describe the process of trying to find a supplier?
That's a great question. So I don't think there's like a right way of finding suppliers. Like there's literally like thousands of different ways, and they all work. It depends on who you are, on where you live, and your strength, I would say. So first of all, I want to say like the best suppliers that I've ever met, I met them through a common person, okay, through somebody else, through a friend, through a family member, okay. So, oh yeah, I know this guy, he works for X supplier, and then they make the connection, and usually that works really well. Another thing, if you have in your business, okay, some people working with you, meaning a shipping broker, or meaning someone that helps you with, it could be shipping, it could be accounting, it could be any service in your business, like those referrals coming from those people, they used to work really well. So I created a great relationship with my shipping broker, and one day he would say like, listen, I'm gonna send you a list from the 10 best suppliers that I know, because I always pick up like products from them every single day from every single client that I have, and I'm gonna send you that list. The only requirement, of course, is that you have to ship your pallets through me. And I was like, that's great. And from that, I think I got 2 suppliers and 1 brand that I still work with. So that basically like that takes out all the Google work and Google Maps and reaching out and seeing the trucks around and looking at the logos and talking and taking pictures and stuff. So what I want to say is, if you know someone that they know someone, usually that's the best way to go. Maybe you don't have anyone, so that's where, when you go to trade shows, work really, really well. And I'm a huge fan of local suppliers. So especially, I mean, I live here in Miami, Florida, so we have a lot of big suppliers down here. I think there's no better thing than just kind of like showing up and meeting someone in person and shaking their hands and just having a human conversation. Because I think that's one of the main problems, that we want to send a random email to 1,000 suppliers and we expect to open all 1,000 wholesale accounts, which doesn't make any sense at all. You might end with like 1 or 2 if you're lucky.
Yeah, no, that's so good, because I remember when we tried to find our first supplier, I think this is like a really good like segue into it, is basically we like called up the brand. They were like, there's a couple distributors around, here's their locations, and one ended up literally being like half a mile away from my house.
I heard
we were like, perfect,
great.
Let's go. So we hopped in Kaja's car, we're driving, trying to think of like how we're gonna pitch this and pitch that. So we start pulling into the parking lot, and we're seeing like all these like really nice cars, like way nicer cars than like we're driving Kaja's like car that doesn't have a left door handle into this parking lot. And we go up to the front door, and I'll never forget it. We go to like open the door, and there's like no door handle, and we were like, oh no. We're like, we couldn't even make it in the building. So we had to like buzz in, be like, hey, like, how are you guys? And they're like, what are you doing here? We're like, we want to see about opening up a wholesale account. And long story short, someone ended up meeting us. And after, a long time communicating with like emails, and like, I think we had another couple phone calls with them, we ended up actually closing that account and ordering from them. But yeah, a really cool experience of just, going there, meeting somebody face to face, talking with them, seeing what their ideas were. And we ended up having a positive experience from that relationship.
Yeah.
And if we didn't show up in person, there is a 0% chance we would account.
Exactly.
0%.
That's actually a huge thing when reaching out to suppliers, and that relationship with your supplier itself. Like, we're all humans, like we're not like, we're still not robots or machines or anything. We're still humans. So just kind of like reach out to them, try to have like a really personal conversation, like just be normal, like there's not like a right way of doing it or a wrong way of doing it. Like, just have a regular conversation. Of course, like, prepare yourself, try to have like an introduction speech about your business and what you do, because thing is, like, people, they want to reach out to suppliers and, oh yeah, my name is Javier, I saw on Amazon and I want to buy your products, and they're like what do you bring to the table? Like I get like 10,000 calls per day of Javier's selling on Amazon, so like why would I work with you? So that's I think that's one of the biggest things, especially with suppliers and brands.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Now, kind of turning the point, when you do close an account as a new seller, what do you tell people that are new to expect in terms of how much like a PO should be for their first maybe couple?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. I think it also depends on the working capital that this person may have available to them.
100%.
I wouldn't go like super big or deep on the first PO. I mean, if you have, let's say, I don't know, $5,000 of capital and you want to place that first PO $5,000, I would say go for it. But like, I wouldn't spend over 10 or 15% of that capital in one product. Okay, so you need to understand and accept that the first PO is not gonna go well. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter how many hours you spend on Keepa. If you talk to me, if you talk to you guys, I mean, like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's gonna be a couple things that they're gonna go wrong, and it's normal. I mean, like, we all gotta go through that first step. So Uh, Having said that, I mean, like actually like dividing that, I'm sorry, like dividing your investment into like multiple products, like it makes sense. So you have more. What I tell people is if you have $5,000 and you just buy like one product, you're gonna be fighting for one buy box. You're a new seller, you don't have reviews, you don't have like any history with Amazon. Like Amazon doesn't trust you at all. So instead of buying one product, let's buy 20 and we're competing for 20 buy boxes at the same time. So we have a higher chance of winning. And for that first PO, I know we're looking for like super good margins, and at least like I would like to make 30 to 35% return on investment, but like on that first PO, maybe it's not gonna happen, and you need to accept that. So take the first PO as a learning experience. Hopefully you make some money. If you don't make any money on the first PO, you still won the game, because like
Yeah.
you went through the whole process. You place the order, you prep the products, you ship them, you sold them, you got paid again, and then you go again with way more knowledge than the first time.
Yeah, 100%. I think everybody really wants to hit that home run the first time. And really, it's just, you just got to foster the relationship first. And then the next thing you know, if you're ordering a lot from the supplier and they have something new that comes in, that comes across your desk, that might be way better than what you're ordering before, you have the opportunity to go grab a few of those as well. So building that relationship is always first for us, and that's why you aren't going to make a lot of money on your first PO. It's probably just going to be break even, and that's okay. Or it might be a little bit better than break even. In that case, you really won the game.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Let's kind of talk about how many suppliers you currently buy from, and like, have you seen that number grown? Have you seen that number shrink? Have you more concentrated on certain suppliers rather than others? Like, talk to us about how that goes, because usually what happens is you reach out to hundreds of suppliers, and then you land probably 20 out of like 1,000, and then you start working with those suppliers over time, and then some of the times some are better than others, so then you end up pivoting. So talk us a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think like the success of your Amazon business depends a lot on these type of decisions that you make, especially regarding like the suppliers that you're working with and the type of product that you're buying and selling as well. So I started kind of like reaching out to every single supplier in the world. I tried to open wholesale account with everybody. I gave a try to pretty much every wholesaler in the US. And then, of course, I started kind of like narrowing down because I don't have unlimited capital. Well, I had like this $500,000 from Amazon lending, which helped a lot. But yeah, I started kind of like filtering down like those that were working the best for me. And I think that helps a lot. So I'm at that point in my business where that's my first priority out of everything. So just kind of like stay with a few really good, consistent suppliers and brands, and just kind of like leave everything else. So 2023, last year, we worked with, I believe, around 15 suppliers and just one brand direct. Okay. Fast forward, Q2, 2024, we're just working with, I would say, 3 or 4 suppliers and 4 brand directs. So we went from 16 total, 15 and 1, to 4 and 4. Okay, and I'm not scared to go down to 6 maybe.
Wow.
And we're talking,
Okay.
I would say between 780 and between 700 and $800,000 in capital. 8 suppliers, so we're talking like big numbers and small numbers on the supplier side, because of what we were talking about. Like, you need to create those relationships. They need to feel that connection with you. Of course, at the end of the day, like money, like it matters. Like money talks, and the
Yeah.
more that you buy from that supplier, the more benefits they're gonna have. And another thing that it's helped me a lot is to keep this conversation like super honest and transparent with my suppliers. Like I would say, like, listen, I was working with X amount of suppliers and I don't want to deal with so many people anymore. Like I want to narrow down to like a few good suppliers, and you're one of them. So I have the capital. I'm willing to work with you as much as we can. So just kind of like send me like good things and let's work closely. And they really appreciate that.
We were talking a little bit about this before we started the recording, but also the shift, to doing more brand direct stuff. And I noticed that you said last year you only had one brand direct. Now it's like 50-50. So talk to us about why you're kind of making that shift and what you've seen in Amazon. That's
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I believe Amazon, they've been trying to make the platform more professional. Let's call it that way. So they don't want to do all this like random supplier stuff. There's like a lot of like counterfeit products. Like you really need to make sure you're working with like with real suppliers, that they're actually like getting into that supply chain from the manufacturer directly to that supplier directly to you, or maybe there's two suppliers in the supply chain. Sometimes it happens, but you need to be able to track those products back to the manufacturer. Okay, that's super important right now. Amazon, I believe that they're getting tougher in that sense. Also the new Amazon fees, the low inventory level fees and everything else. So right now, like we're not like kind of like playing around anymore. Like we need like real businesses. We need to take care of the restock of the products, and there's no better way of restocking the product if you're buying that product from the brand itself. Like there's just nothing better that you could do. So reaching out to brands, build that relationship, making sure you're consistently restocking your products. I think that's gonna be the game plan for 2024 and 2025 as well.
Are you guys doing any sort of listing management for these brands too, like running PPC, updating listing images, or are you just strictly buying and
Yeah, we're doing for some of them. That's kind of like the value that we try to provide as well. So usually when I'm about to start working with a brand, I do kind of like I would say maybe like an analysis on their listings and their brands and what I feel they're doing good and what they can improve. There's always something to improve: titles, bullet points, pictures, A plus content, PPC, and everything else. So I would say like 95% of brands, they don't want to work with Amazon sellers because nobody tells them this information. So it's nothing against Amazon most of the times, not always, but most of the times. But if you take the time to kind of like pinpoint like I'll do this better or in a different way, or I can help you with this, or if we do this, I believe it's not gonna sell 1,000 units a month, it's gonna sell 2,000 units a month, and everybody's gonna make more money. So we try to provide that extra value to brands, and I believe that's one of the main difference between working with brands directly or wholesalers.
Yeah, and that's what we've realized as well, and while we're pivoting more of our business towards the brand direct model. It does working directly with brands, especially if it's going to become exclusive, that it can take a lot longer to build that relationship. Same way like when you open up an account with a wholesaler, that first PO might not be profitable. When you're working with a brand, it might take quite a few POs before they even trust you enough to give you access to update the title or to have enough of the buy box PPC. But then in the long run, like you're saying, you're going to be able to restock the products better. You're not going to be getting into pricing wars for the buy box. Yeah. You're not going to be worried about IP complaints because the brand knows you're selling. You're getting it directly from the brand. So it's all around better for the business.
I agree 100%.
Was there ever a time where you wanted to think about stopping selling on Amazon? Was there just like a disaster that was like so bad? Like we've had a couple where we were like, man, we really screwed up this time, but we're going to get through it. But this sucked. Did you ever have an experience like that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I don't have like like we have a lot. I wouldn't say there is one that was kind of like strong enough for me to want it to leave. Like I don't want to go back to my previous life and the bartending and working 3 jobs and stuff. So Amazon sometimes is a pain. We all know that. But like I'd rather just get used to that pain than going back to whatever I was doing before. So yeah, I mean, like I haven't had that time, but of course I've had times where I'm like, bro, like I don't know how to deal with this. Like it's so much, especially on Amazon, like you get like one listing, it gets removed, and then that same day you get an IP complaint, and then like one of the truckloads like is like you don't know where the truck went, like everything is going super bad on the same day, and you're like, why, like why? But yeah, I think what I feel like helped me like through this, especially like the last 2 3 years that we're moving more volume, more capital, and you have higher responsibilities. It's kind of like to have like a macro view of everything. So if you have like this like ultimate goal of creating like a family business, helping your dad, your sisters, kind of like being kind of like the foundation of your family and stuff, like I don't think like getting a listing removed or losing a pallet or getting an IP complaint or anything, like it doesn't really matter, you know, like if you compare like the macro to the micro, like it doesn't matter that much. I mean, you're still gonna get mad, you're still gonna say everything bad about Amazon, but you're gonna overcome that. So that's something that I've really been working super hard, especially like I would say the last 2 years. And I think you need to train yourself to learn to breathe and think that way, because if not, like you're gonna go nuts for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a good perspective, because I feel like it does just happen. For some reason, there is just those days where it's just, man, everything seems to just fall apart. Like there was one day where it's like we lost a product somewhere, we got regated in Nike, and it was just like, how does this happen? Like, why? It's like all the same
like
day.
3 hours ago, everything was perfect.
Yeah.
And, like
Yeah,
now
everything was fine.
Everything is super wrong.
Yeah. It's like the post office lost a package, a retailer didn't deliver packages, we
Yeah.
got regated at
Regated.
something. It's like, okay, sure, let's just
Yeah, it
everything's
happens.
wrong. That's fine.
You start thinking like, is this maybe like a signal? Like, should I stop doing this?
Yeah, exactly. But definitely, I like the perspective that you kind of bring it back to, where it's like, you know, thinking about like, if you do want to be the staple of your family, is really a lost shipment going to be, you know, the end of it? Or is it's like that one product that gets returned 1,000 times that you didn't know was going to get returned 1,000 times, all that sort of stuff. And I really like that perspective, because a lot of people can get so stuck on like the here and now and not thinking about well, what if I do this for another 1 year to 5 years? Where am I going to be then? So
I agree 100%. One important thing on that, I mean, like, I have like this macro perspective, but like everything that happens, of course, it comes with a lesson. So just kind of like make sure you don't go through that again. Like it doesn't matter the
Learn the
macro.
lesson.
Like,
Learn the lesson.
Like if you're doing something wrong and you're getting like IP complaints or you're having trouble with Amazon for something, like make sure next time you do it the right way, and everything's gonna be better.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Quick question: Are you the oldest brother?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm the oldest brother too, so the oldest brother responsibility vibes are strong with you.
Nice. Yeah. That's how you do it. Especially like, I mean, sometimes it's hard. Like we come, like my family moved from Venezuela. We're from Venezuela, from South America. I would say like 4 5 years ago. So I mean, like I see my parents like they were successful in our country. So kind of like coming into a new country, like they don't know the language, like they've had businesses over there, like they were successful, and then you have to come to the US and basically like work on whatever you can work, just as simple as that. So kind of like that, I would say it's kind of like an extra pressure for me, but I think it's I take it as motivation, and I know like failing is not gonna be an option, because I mean like I have like a lot of people that depends on me, and I like feeling that way, because like I wouldn't think about like stopping or anything. Like I could think about like changing things and improving, but never like about stopping.
Mad respect for that, bro. Seriously.
Thank you, man.
And I
Thank
think
you.
you're doing pretty good too for your age category, if I have to think about it.
Yeah, well, I'm 30. I'm getting older now, so yeah, the 20s are gone already. But yeah.
You're just hitting your prime.
As they say.
Yeah, come on. Messi's 37. You got plenty of time.
Well, yeah, I still have some way to go to get to Messi's level. Just a couple zeros.
Yeah, seriously. That's too funny. Now, where can people go find you on the internet?
Yeah, so our main channel is gonna be on Instagram. It's at Mundo Amazon, which is basically Amazon World in Spanish. I'm sorry for all my English speakers. Most of the content is gonna be in Spanish. Well, this podcast and thank you for the invitation. Like it means a lot. And I remember hearing you guys on the panel on MSC, and it was like a great experience. And you guys have like all this knowledge, and I'm surprised like the level of structure that you have in your businesses. Like it looks as a Amazon League kind of business. So congratulations for that. But yeah, on my social media is mainly Instagram, so it's gonna be at Mundo Amazon. If you wanna reach out, send a DM, ask some questions or whatever, like I'm always open to help.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Mundo Amazon, for coming out. Everyone, thank you for listening. If you found value during this episode, give Ecom Unlimited a like and a follow to stay updated on all of our new episodes, and we will see you on the next one.
Thank you guys.
Hasta luego.